says I'm live. I don't know if I am or not.
Not on my end. There you go.
Alex Miller says 5x5. Mike says, there you go. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, the 28th of April, 2025. Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. What's up, Mike Beauchamin? Mike Beauchamin? Is that your name? It is now. What's up, Iridium? Shalom, brother. You guys know the drill. The show is brought to you by the creator of the universe. You should probably know who he is. Better yet, he should know who you are. It's a relationship. It's brought to you by refugemedical.com. This company right here. Look at this. Look at this. Made in America, Oklahoma even, guaranteed forever. You break it, I'll replace it. You know the drill. Refugemedical.com and the wonderful people over on Patreon that are the economic engine of the Bear Nation. That's right. That's how we pay our bills and put shoes on our kids and all that, because YouTube don't pay me nothing, Refuge don't pay me nothing, Grindstone don't pay me nothing, Caleb House don't pay me nothing. It's all Patreon. So for as little as $10 a month, if you want to support the show, that's how you do it. Links are in the description, okay? Okay, man. From MSN.com, which we all know is a trash news source. We acknowledge that. I still find it super cutesy that some people have like preferred primary news agencies. Like, they're all garbage. You know that, right? They just the garbage that they spew, you find a little bit more palatable than everybody else. Oh, whatever. Here, let's move you over here. I'm waiting on a cable for this guy right here. This microphone come over from the other office, and I need one of those right there, which is like a USB mini, USB small. It's definitely not a USB-C or USB micro. Nobody knows. So the UPS guy will bring one sooner or later. North Korea declared war on Ukraine. Okay, great. You know what? That's news to me. Let's go Google that real quick. www.google.com. North Korea declared war on Ukraine. Putin and Kim confirmed for the first time North Koreans fought in Russia and Ukraine, sent soldiers to Ukraine. North Korea confirms troop deployment. That's different than they confirmed that they sent troops to fight in Ukraine. We know that. We've been talking about that for a hot minute. According to the enforcer on YouTube, North Korea declares war on Ukraine and India. Okay. Sending large numbers of forces into Russia. So I don't know about all that. I'll have to do a little bit more digging on that, because the troops that were sent from North Korea into Ukraine by way of Russia the first time around didn't know that they were going to war. They were told by their lovely regime that they were being sent to a training deployment, and then more than 50% of them were killed because they've never been to combat at that point. They've never been bloodied. They didn't know. And yeah, it was bad. Super duper bad. So I don't know about North Korea confirms or declares war on Ukraine and India. That's what the enforcer says. 3 hours long. Ain't nobody got time for that. 3 hours long? Maybe. Nah. We'll see. So as I was saying, from MSN trash media. Headline: Trump approval sinks as Americans criticize his major policies, polls find. Blah, 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 blah. As he nears his first 100 days in office, President Donald J. Trump, the best president ever, is facing growing opposition to his ambitious and controversial agenda. While his approval rating has declined, majority opposition to major initiatives and perceptions that his administration is seeking to avoid complying with federal court orders, according to a Washington Post, ABC News, Ipsos poll. Hey, could you get that? There's our three witnesses right there. Washington Post, ABC News, and Ipsos poll. And great. Blah, blah, blah. No president in modern history. Who cares? Trump's overall rating is lower than it was only 2 months ago. The poll shows that 39% of adult Americans approve of the way Trump is handling his job, compared with 55% who disapprove, including 44% who disapprove strongly. Wah. In February, those numbers were 45% positive and 53% negative. Among registered voters, the deterioration has been even larger. In February, 48% of registered voters gave him positive marks compared with 51% negative. Today, those numbers are 42% positive and 55% negative, a swing from net negative 3 percentage points to net negative 13 percentage points. Okay, opinion, conjecture. Why? Why, after 100 days with Donald Trump, number 47, would people be so upset and be disapproving? Well, because we heard for months and months and months and months and months leading up to November 5th, voting day. On day one, we're going to turn the FBI headquarters into a museum, except they didn't. Pam's going to get in there and we're going to release the Epstein files, except they didn't. We're going to have the JFK files, redacted. And what was the one word that was redacted from the JFK files? Do you remember, Mike? Do you remember the one word that was redacted from the JFK files? There was only one word.
Oh, that land over there.
Yeah, Middle Eastern New Jersey.
Coffee says
That's the one. Yeah. Just that one word. How interesting. And we're gonna have the RFK files, except we haven't had that. And we're gonna have mass deportations, except we haven't had mass deportations. We've got Kristi Noem flagging the Border Patrol with her little 10.5 shorty AR because she doesn't know how to actually hold the thing. Pam Bondi's gone on Fox News 52 times. And then the Epstein file that was supposed to be released, that debacle where everybody had their binders coming out of the White House taking photos. Yeah, that hasn't happened. And those files, the Epstein files, were the stuff that had already previously been released. Now, tariffs and taxes. We haven't had this strong response to tariffs that we're supposed to have. Taxation still exists. Fort Knox hasn't been audited. All this stuff that they said they were going to do in the first 100 days, it's going to be the best 100 days. It's like 10 times 10 days makes 100 days. It's going to be so good. It's not been good at all. Now they're like, yo, listen, we'll consider some tax breaks if you make $200K a year or less, based upon the efficacy of tariffs. Super cute. So I'll just give you an example. This company right here, okay? This company, I don't have an income from this company. And we're doing that because we want to keep as much money inside the company as possible so it'll prosper and grow. So I ain't me complaining about it, it's just a fact. But see, all these shelves, all this inventory right there, that counts as income. All right, so I don't get a tax break because all that counts as income. Well, the rich got to pay their fair share, but all of that pays me zero. So what's the fair share of zero? You see what I mean? And so I wonder why. I wonder why Trump's polls are just completely falling apart. Oh, then you've got Elon and Doge, right? And Doge has found $200 billion in waste. Okay. Could we get some of that money back? No, here's $1 trillion DOD spending plan. $1 trillion DOD budget. See, the reason I think that approval ratings are slipping is because you said one thing and you're doing another. That's what it is. And
yes, what?
Yeah, it's biblical, like let your yes be yes. And so here's the thing. Either when you were campaigning, when you said you would do all these things, you either lied to me and you're in on it, or you lied to me and you don't have the horsepower that you said that you had. You either can't do it or won't do it. Okay? Well, we've secured our southern border. Okay, cool. Define secured. How many people are already inside that have come from our southern border, sleeper cells that are here? Iranians, Trenday Aragua, the Chinese. We talked about the Chinese on the last brief and the Chinese grow operations and the cartels and the Russian mafia. Yeah, they're here. They're already here. We've talked about how for 20 years Chinese nationals have been washing these grow operation funds through legitimate businesses here and then using that cash as American citizens, Chinese American citizens, to exercise their Second Amendment rights to stockpile weapons, ammunition, body armor, nods, vehicles, fuel, all the prepper stuff that you should be doing. They've been doing it at scale, and then they've got an army of people that are their slaves that work for them at their grow operations that are also their militia that are here domestically and have been for 20 years. Where's that? Why? How come SOF isn't hitting any of those targets? How come Kristi Noem's not taking photo ops in front of burning grow operations? And that's just that's just one thing. So this end stage empire has gone to poo-poo. Okay, I'm trying to police my language. It's gone to poo-poo. All right, it's all poopy. No bueno. And people are wondering, like, I don't understand why Trump's not very popular right now. You talk too much. Do things. SOF is busy doing inventory. That's funny. That's true. Somebody lost a battery cap off of a PEC 15 and everything's shut down until we find that battery cap. So from MSN, Trump's approval numbers are lower than they were when he first started. I wonder if from RT it has anything to do with this headline, which on YouTube, I'm reading the news, YouTube. Okay, so before we go ahead and give me my third channel strike and we suffer off this digital mortal coil and end up somewhere else, I'm just reading the news, YouTube. All right, this is word for word from RT.com. Yes, it's also propaganda. We all know. Okay, it's a bad news source. They're all bad news sources. They all suck. Okay, it's all garbage. All right, cool. Epstein. Does that make sense? Do you understand if I say Epstein, who I'm talking about? He's busy packing orders. They're not thinking.
Yeah.
Epstein. Who am I talking about?
Oh.
Does it make sense?
The guy didn't hang himself.
Yeah, that guy. The guy didn't hang himself. All right, cool. So Epstein and Princey Andrew accuser deletes themselves via self-deletion. EpiPen. There we go. EpiPen. EpiPen and Prince Andrew accuser deletes themselves via self-deletion, according to the family. Virginia Giuffre, accusation of abuse by senior British royal was settled out of court in 2022. Virginia, a prominent survivor of Jeffrey EpiPen's trafficking ring and leading advocate for victims of abuse, has self-deleted at the age of 41, her family said in a statement to NBC News on Friday. Now, this lady was run off the road 3 weeks ago. She was run off the road 3 weeks ago. Very popular tactic, especially if you're from Missouri, running witnesses off the road. Oh, I said another quiet part out loud. Yeah, you scumbags know who you are. Anyway, she was run off the road 3 weeks ago, and she was like, hey, I'm going into kidney failure. I might not make it, but if I expire, I did not self-delete myself. I did not self-delete myself. But here comes her family saying, hey, unfortunately, Miss Virginia has self-deleted herself 3 weeks after she was run off the road. Jeffrey passed away at her farm near Gabby, Western Australia, where she had lived with her husband and 3 children since 2019. Quote, it is with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to self-deletion after being a longtime victim of blank abuse and blank trafficking, her family told NBC News. They described her as a fierce warrior in the fight against blanksual abuse and blank trafficking, adding that the toll of abuse is so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight. I don't think so. I don't think so. Sounds like somebody got handed a duffel bag of cash to keep their mouths shut, and Virginia had to go bye-bye. Jeffrey was instrumental in bringing global attention to EpiPen's abuse network. She provided crucial information to law enforcement that contributed to the conviction of EpiPen's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. She also filed high-profile civil lawsuit against Britain's Prince Andy Rue, alleging that he blankly assaulted her when she was 17. The case was settled out of court in 2022, with Prince Andy Rue denying the allegations. I'm positive that he denied it. Jeffrey EpiPen self-deleted in a New York jail cell in August 2019. Sure he did. While awaiting trial on federal blank charges, his deletion was officially ruled a self-deletion, though it has remained the subject of intense public scrutiny and widespread speculation given the high-profile likeness of his kid, blah, blah, blah. No, maybe it's because people are watching this happen in real time on certain platforms such as X that your buddy Elon owns, Mr. President. Maybe that's why you're losing credibility, because the whistleblowers who are saying, yo, these people, the satanic pedophiles, are trying to kill me. If I turn up dead, it wasn't me. And then they turn up dead, and everybody's like, ho hum, how interesting. Oh my goodness, did you see the stock market today? Bro. And everybody, you should have known. I'm not now on what, day 60 of saying Pam Bondi should resign? I said this a month or two ago, and everybody lost their poo-poo. Bear, stop it. Give it time. Trust the plant. No, she sucks. She's in on it. She sucks. She's got to go. She's no friend of the Second Amendment. Other than Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, when they get in there, man, didn't you see what Cash said he was going to do? Didn't you see what Danny Boy said he was going to do? What have they done? Now they're shills for the FBI. Huh, how interesting. They're appointing people to leadership positions that were in charge of prosecuting J6 protesters during the insurrection day. Huh, how interesting. Almost like they've been compromised. Bobby Kennedy spends the last 40 years saying food dyes are bad and chemtrails are bad and vaccines are bad, and he gets in there, and the first thing he does as Director of Health and Human Services is declare an epidemic of anti-Semitism. It's almost like, I'm just saying, it's almost like something's weird here, and people are watching it happen in real time on the internet. So there's a disparity between what Mr. President has said he was going to do and what Mr. President is doing. There's a disparity between what Mr. President's people said they were going to do and what they are doing, okay? And so it's a big old joke. Shame on me for ever thinking it could be any different than it's ever been. Exactly, Bill, you will know them by their fruit. I'm unimpressed. Now, separate that commentary from I want the United States of America to succeed. We, the people, to succeed. We are the country. The country's not a landmass, it's a people group. It's not a government in Washington, D.C. It's a people group. It's us, right? Government of the people, for the people, by the people, as it's supposed to be. I want America and Americans to do well. But, we love to say, us fierce patriots, bend the knee to no man. Unless they're from the IRS, right? Or the ATF, or the FBI, or pick an alphabet soup agency. Oh, and I'll bend my knee a little bit, right? I don't want to start any problems. That would be terrible. By the way, recently, I just want to point this out. Recently was the anniversary of the Waco debacle with the ATF. And there's a lot of proud patriots that talk about ATF overreach and abuse of force in the Waco scenario. And that's 100% correct. What they don't talk about is the fact that David Koresh was a pedophile. That's the appropriate word. He was a cult leader and a pedophile. And so, on the one hand, the ATF absolutely abused their power. 100% abused their power. You don't stick tanks through people's houses. Okay? Not allowed to do that. That whole Waco siege, bad. The government should not even approach the ability to be able to do that when it comes to use of force. On the other hand, be careful to defend the ideologies of a whack job pedophile who was abusing children and women in his cult. Okay. So David Koresh is not a hero. Okay. The ATF absolutely overstepped their bounds, but David Koresh is not a hero. Just a little clarity there. So Virginia Giuffre, her whatever her name is, the EpiPen lady and the Prince Andy Rue lady, has totally self-deleted, even though she stated publicly for years, "I will never self-delete," and the family's very sad. I wonder if that's affecting Trump's approval ratings at all. Speaking of approval ratings, senior Pakistani official threatens India with nukes. Nukes. It's just nukes. It's fine. And don't worry, both the Pakistanis and the Indians, they're very cool-headed. They're very cool-headed. Their decision-making processes are stellar. I mean, checks and balances. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got nothing to worry about here. It's fine. They definitely don't have camo-painted Tonka toy trucks from the 1960s with giant missiles on the back of them, just trying to figure. They don't even know what they're shooting at. They just know put bombs and tanks and guns and planes and nukes over there on that side of the imaginary line. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? And let's get Kim involved. Kim Jong-un, North Korea. Now, a little tongue-in-cheek, a little not tongue-in-cheek. If we're gonna have $1 trillion DoD budget, and if we're the world's lone superpower, you know all those fancy planes you and me spent a whole bunch of money on, B-2 Spirits that are now parked at Diego Garcia, and they got giant bombs, make giant holes in the earth. And they've got KC-135 strato tankers there for aerial refueling. Could we hypothetically go hit the stack of cardboard boxes that is the North Korean Capitol building? Just saying. Like, okay, that problem solved. Who wants some more? India, Pakistan, you play nice now, okay? I'm just saying. Hey, everybody, play nice. You can play in our sandbox, but if it's going to be our sandbox, it's going to be our rules. Just hypothetically speaking. Well, don't you understand, Bear? We're at the end stage of the American empire, and we're losing American hegemony. Yes, I do. But I'm just saying, is there a way for us to fake it till we make it with this rebirth of a nation? If we're gonna spend $1 trillion on defense, could we include killing the people who are psychopathic and have nuclear weapons in that defense plan? Hypothetically speaking. Notice I didn't say murder. Killing. Righteously, just like, this guy's a psychopath and he has nukes, we should take him off the face of the earth. I'm just throwing that out there. So back to India and Pakistan. Pakistani Railways Minister Hanif Abbasi. We're going to talk about Bandar Abbas as well. And so there's this phrase, Abbas, that keeps coming up over and over and over again. And Abbas in Greek is like head, but not like the head of your body, but like the head of your life, almost like God. And in Arabic, Abbas is like father or lion, which is interesting because what is Judah called when he's blessed in Genesis? Judah is a mighty lion. Interesting. But it's lion with the intonation of austerity. Like, this is not good. There's shortages of food and water and all of that. Remember, we talked last Monday about the 3 things biblically: famine, plague, warfare. Those 3 things, that's a boss, right? That austerity. And so it's interesting that the Pakistani Railways Minister is Hanif Abbasi. Okay, and we got to talk about Bandar Abbas. Why does this word keep cropping up in our language here lately? God, the Godhead, and foreshadowing austerity. Interesting. So Hanif Abbasi has threatened India with a nuclear strike amid growing tensions between the neighboring countries. Nuclear strikes because 26 tourists are dead. Now, I'm not a fan of 26 tourists being dead. Kashmir, which is an area that's been in conflict forever and a day. But Pakistan, in a televised address on Sunday, Abbasi reminded India that Pakistan possesses numerous missiles and 130 nuclear warheads, quote, which are not for display. Continuing the quote, nobody knows where we have placed our nuclear weapons across the country. I say it again, these ballistic missiles, all of them are targeted at you, end quote. the official stated. Okay, so we got 130 nuclear weapons from Pakistan pointed at India because 26 people that were dumb enough to not understand the context of the Kashmir region went in there and got shot up. Which I'm not saying, I'm not making light of the fact that 26 people got killed. But in retaliation for 26 civilians getting killed, we're going to launch 130 nuclear weapons. Kind of goes back to, like I said, they got Tonka toys from the 1960s painted camouflage with giant missiles on the back of them, just whoosh, getting ready to oof. India, in turn, asserted earlier this week that the suspension of, oh, right, I should read the paragraph before that. Commenting on New Delhi's decision on Wednesday to unilaterally suspend the key water-sharing Indus Rivers Treaty. See, because Pakistan gets most of their water from India. You, Mr. and Mrs. Prepper, on your end of the screen, what's your water plan? Because if your neighbor can turn your water off, you don't have any water now, do you? Interesting. Goes back to famine. Famine, plague, warfare. No water, no food. No water, you die. So, India turned the water off. They ended the Indus Waters Treaty, water sharing Indus Waters Treaty. Abbasi from Pakistan charged that, quote, if they stop the water supply to us, then they should be ready for a war. Echoing previous statements by Pakistani officials. India in turn asserted earlier this week that the suspension would remain in place, quote, until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism, end quote, is what they said. Until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism. Blah, 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 blah. They're mad at each other. They got giant missiles pointed at each other. Pakistani Defense Minister Khawaja Asif warned that the confrontation with India could escalate into an all-out war with potentially tragic outcome, given that both nations are nuclear powers. Okay, there's levels to this game. There's layers to this onion. Okay, on the one hand, how interesting India and Pakistan might nuke each other. Who's going to run to their rescue? I don't know. Probably not the entire international community if these guys fight it out. And there's a lot of like people sitting back on the sidelines going, oh, this could get weird. This could get weird. So, interesting. We'll continue to watch it. On another level, what are we not looking at right now in the news? Because we're going to talk about India and Pakistan potentially nuking each other. Like, what's this a distraction from? That's another thing that comes to mind. On another hand, why do I care? Well, I don't want to glow in the dark. I don't want anybody else to glow in the dark. I don't want us sending our sons and daughters half a world away to go fight and die in somebody else's war because they decided to make each other glow in the dark. Okay, so that's interesting to me. Then you have supply chain disruption, raw goods, commodities, low price value added goods. Alibaba, you might have heard of that. India's got 1 billion people. It's kind of the unrecognized, unsung hero of third world manufacturing over there in India. Everybody focuses on the industrial base in China, but which now due to tariffs is or isn't a thing depending on what mood Trump is in today. But there's a lot of stuff that comes from India. There's a lot of raw goods that come from Pakistan. And like I mentioned last week, most of your surgical instruments are coming from over there. So if you got to have a surgery or if you're prepping for the end of the world, thanks to the EPA and the FDA, can't make those things here. There you go. Radioactive curry everywhere. Most, good curry is basically radioactive anyway. You're going to have the same symptoms, It's basically the same symptoms between good curry and nuclear fallout. For real. That's not even hyperbole. Which brings us to apnews.com. A massive explosion at an Iranian port, possibly linked to missile fuel, kills 25 and injures some 800. Now this is in Iran, a different part of the world, different part of the third world, okay? A massive explosion of fire rocked a port Saturday in southern Iran, purportedly linked to a shipment of chemical ingredients used to make missile propellant, killing 25 people and injuring around 800 others. The same port that for years, maybe a decade now, it's been suspected and then confirmed that China has been shipping missile parts and drone parts into Iran, which are then making their way from Iran to the Houthis, the Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthi and the Blowfish, everybody else that starts with an H. Homer from The Simpsons. So this port is known to like not be good. Okay, cool. And now there's this gigantic explosion that may have been related to chemicals used to make rocket fuel, to fuel the rocket parts that came in previously. Okay. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Oh, we got a moron in the chat? Quit your whining about him talking about politics. Yeah. Listen, you guys can leave if you don't like it. Yeah. DM Hutchins. Dude, go somewhere else, man. Simple as that. I'm gonna be me, okay? Cool. Or DM Hutchins, you start your channel. You go start your channel, and then you do it for 7 years, produce more than 7,000 pieces of content, read the entire New Testament and most of the Old Testament in progress on camera with people, do all the Torah portions. Yeah, live the life, show your garden on camera yesterday, and your animals, and all the work that you've done over the last more than half a decade, and provide tons of value at no cost here on YouTube. You go, leg press a skid steer while you're at it on a deployment with Grindstone in Mayfield, Kentucky. Start a company that saved 144 lives to date, shipped products all around the world to 45,000 customers. You do all of that, and then we'll all come to your channel and talk trash in your comments, okay? Or maybe emote less on the internet. Maybe just like sit down and shut up for a minute. You might consider that potential course of action. Maybe. Back to Iran, which got blown the F up, much like D.H. Hutchins, whatever his name is. Peace, homie. Sucks to be you. Helicopters and aircraft dumped water from the air on the raging fire throughout the night. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. There's a giant fire because rocket fuel exploded. Now, and everybody's talking about, oh no, the rocket fuel exploded. How did the rocket fuel explode? That's what I want to know. 25 killed, 800 plus injured. Those numbers will probably go up as the days go on. Now, this is in Iran. Remember that? And remember I was telling you that China's bringing in rocket parts and drone parts that go into Iran that then get pushed over the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas, all of which have been targeting Israeli interests, and then, to a lesser extent, American interests in the region. And then the fuel, see, they were bringing in liquid fuel, and then the liquid fuel would then be moved to other underground, literal or figurative facilities, where it would then be using industrial mixers, would be cooked down to create solid rocket fuel, which would then end up in the missiles that are being launched at Israel or by the Yemeni Houthis to American ships or whatever. And so now all of a sudden the rocket fuel go boom boom, and everybody's like, wow, that's crazy, so many people were injured. Yeah, I'm not for good people, innocent people getting injured. But gosh, it's super interesting to me that all the rocket fuel exploded at the critical port in Iran during a time where we are in conflict with Iran, because Middle Eastern New Jersey doesn't like them, and Big Brother America's like, nobody touches my little brother, Middle Eastern New Jersey. Everybody be nice to him. No money for anybody, but Middle Eastern New Jersey, they're so good. We love them. I don't know why we love them. But we love them, because if we don't love them, they'll shoot the president in the head again. Very bad. Can't have it. Butler, Pennsylvania. Nobody knows anything anymore. Professionally scrubbed his apartment. It's fine. Mossad definitely wasn't there. They didn't do it. They would never do it. They love us. But now, boom. This port, Bandar Abbas, just happens to explode. Freaking Middle Eastern New Jersey. Which brings us to our written brief. Back to, I wonder why Trump's poll numbers are so bad. That's crazy. Huh. Are they next exit 4 on the New Jersey Turnpike, right? FBI agents arrested Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan last Friday on charges of obstructing federal immigration enforcement because she had a Tren de Aragua scumbag in her court. And when ICE showed up to arrest him, she suspended court and brought him into the judge's chambers and then let him out the back door so he could escape. So she should be arrested. And she should be tried by a jury of her peers. And when she is found guilty, she should swing from a rope, says me. Cuz, law and order. Yep. According to the criminal complaint, Dugan allegedly helped an undocumented immigrant evade arrest by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents who were waiting to apprehend him after a court appearance. Quote, we believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, to evade arrest. End quote. FBI Director Kash Patel stated following his arrest. Also, Kash, by the way, the world is watching. If you could quit being a FBI sycophant, the exact opposite of what you said that you would be if you were put into this position, and do the job that you told the American people you would do, we would really appreciate it, because some of us are running out of patience and own a lot of tall trees and long ropes. Just saying. The incident occurred on April 18th when Flores Ruiz, a Mexican national facing 3 misdemeanor battery charges because he beat the crap out of his girlfriend and somebody else for the umpteenth time, finally got arrested, appeared in Dugan's courtroom. Federal agents from ICE, FBI, Customs, Border Patrol, and DEA. Oh, so talk about agency interoperability. We got 4 different alphabet soups here. We're waiting to arrest him after a ward. Now, sometimes you put a task force together, and the task force just happens to have an ICE guy, an FBI guy, Border Patrol guy, DEA guy or girl on the task force. And so it's not like for this one guy, 4 federal agencies were interoperating in order to be able to catch this one guy. It's like, no, at the ground force level, they needed a task force, and so they just gathered up whoever they could find with badges and body armor, and they ended up with ICE, FBI, CBP, and DEA. Okay, there were probably some U.S. Marshals in there, probably somebody from the Sheriff's Department, and the Sheriff's Department might have been cross-commissioned as a federal agent. Like, who knows? Oh, this stuff happens all the time. But it sounds really good in a report. Federal agents, yeah. Were they federal agents, or were they agents that have a federal commission? Because those are 2 different things. But whatever. Federal agents from ICE, FBI, CBP, and DEA were waiting to arrest him afterwards. Upon learning of their presence, Dugan reportedly directed the officers to speak with the chief judge while she escorted Flores Ruiz and his attorney through a restricted jury door, bypassing the public area where the agents were positioned. Following Dugan's arrest, FBI Director Patel posted a photo on social media showing the judge handcuffed and being escorted by law enforcement officials. If you could also go ahead and post a picture of the complete unredacted EpiPen files, that'd be wonderful. If you could then post a picture of a Zillow posting of the FBI headquarters, now on sale, so we could recoup some of our American people investment into that broken, fragile system, that'd be great. And then if the next picture he could post would be all these FBI agents that prosecuted Americans with the January 6th Commission, and all these people who are still arrested, all those people in leg irons lined up maybe against the brick wall, that'd be great too. And seeing, this is why polling numbers are down, because the American people have had enough. I'm over it. It's, ignorance is bliss. And if you pay too much attention to the beast system, it'll piss you off. For sure. It's designed to do that. To get you, it's smoke and mirrors. So you're focused on this thing over here instead of this thing over here that's really important. But I think the insulting thing with this administration is that we believed that they might be different They might be different, and they're not. And they've lost all credibility to pretend that they are, because they didn't do what they said they would do. You shall know them by their works. Behold, I come swiftly to reward each man according to his works. Okay. You might not be exactly like who we've painted as the bad guys in this American federal system, but you're still one of them. You're still one of them. Following Dugan's arrest, blah, 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 handcuffed. Move was criticized by Eric Holder, blah, blah, blah. Attorney General Pam Bondi sent a clear message about the administration's stance when she said, I'm going to go on Fox News again, make it 53 times, and I'm still not going to release the EpiPen files, and I'm not going to do any of the things that I said that I would do. Oh, and we're going to charge a guy with a CZ Scorpion as having both a short-barreled rifle and an unlawful pistol, violating the National Firearms Act, the NFA, and then social media is going to lose their crap about that, at which case I'm going to go ahead and do a complete 180 because we've read which way the wind was blowing and we've realized that this is completely unpopular. And so even though as Attorney General of Florida, where she was very anti-Second Amendment, she's trying to be anti-Second Amendment at a federal level now, at a federal level, but people are paying attention and calling her on her BS. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to do a complete 180 in this guy with the CZ Scorpion that he bought and did not modify. He bought it stock. Now all of a sudden that guy doesn't have to face federal charges anymore, per the ATF, which shouldn't exist in the first place and was said that it wouldn't exist by the people inside of this administration before they were hired to do a job that they're no longer doing. Unrelated. Anybody here know how to tie a bowline on a bite? Have you ever seen 3/4 inch rigging line? You guys familiar with that? Yeah, you know how to make a monkey fist, chuck it up over a limb? It's a whole thing. Yeah. So it's just completely unrelated. Completely unrelated. Not good enough. Oh, say, can you see? Well, you need to study, man. You need to study. Pam Bondi said, quote, if you are harboring a fugitive, we don't care who you are. If you are helping hide one, if you're giving gang members guns, anyone who is illegally in this country, we will come after you and we will prosecute you. We will find you. Unless your office or campaign was or is funded by AIPAC, in which case the answer is no. No, they won't. That won't happen at all. Or unless you're embedded and have been embedded inside the intelligence community for decades and have trafficked and exploited children, then no, they won't. They won't come against you. They won't do that at all. It's all dog and pony show, man. The arrest has sparked controversy within the judiciary. Judge Monica Isham of Sawyer County threatened to stop holding court in protest, writing in an email, quote, I have no intention of allowing anyone to be taken out of my courtroom by ICE. Don't care. Judge Monica Isham of Sawyer County. Sawyer County. You could make the argument if the intent, commander's intent from President Donald J. Trump was operational control of the border, right? Just like, you know, Navy SEALs will say, hey, it's a maritime environment as long as I've got water in my canteen. Okay. Operational control of the border, and therefore things related to the border. Okay, cool. Where's Sawyer County? Where's Judge Monica Isham? We're going to go shut it down. We're going to go ahead and put a cordon around Sawyer County until Judge Monica comes out here and she can stand in front of the APC and state her case. We're going to take all of her cases, and those people are going to be extradited to the Roosevelt Reservation, that 60-foot wide corridor all along the southern border, where they can be tried for crimes against the United States of America and either deported or track hoe or rope. There's no trees down there. You can't swing somebody from a mesquite bush. It's weird. But I'm just saying, there are ways. You could make that argument. And I think the disparity here is the difference between how fed up the population is and how slow the administration is moving. And if one more person says, give it time, trust the plan, that person gets deported too. Okay? As long as I'm President Bear, that person gets deported too. Trust the plan. No, I don't trust the plan. I trust the word. And on day one, it's day 101. Where are we now, homie? Oh, that's right. You're full of poo-poo. You just said words so you could get elected. Monica Sawyer, I have no intention of allowing anyone to be taken out of my courtroom by ICE and sent to a concentration camp, especially without due process. Wait a minute. These people didn't observe due process on the way in here, but now you're going to stipulate they are afforded due process on the way out of here?
About to drop the chalupa kid when Clinton was president.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, Elian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Elian Gonzalez, MP5's pointed in his face. You're going back to Cuba, homie. We've had enough. But no due process? Yeah, well, you reap what you sow. You didn't observe due process on your way in. You didn't play by the rules on your way in. We don't have to play by the rules on the way out. Behold, I come swiftly to reward each man according to his works. You reap what you sow. I have no intention of allowing anyone to be taken out of my courtroom by ICE and sent to a concentration camp, especially without due process, as both of the constitutions we swore to support require. She added, quote, if this costs me my job or gets me arrested, then at least I know I did the right thing. Well, cool. You can tell everybody that as you're standing on the platform and the rope is slipped around your neck right before we pull the handle. You could say all those things.
Bring back the gallows.
And that sounds extremist. It's not. This is how we used to problem solve. And it worked. Because it only takes one person swinging in the breeze for everybody else to go, that's a bad idea. That's why the prescription in the Old Testament is rock pile. You hit them with a rock. Because after the first 1,000 people throw a rock, there were 603,550 military-aged males in the nation of the people group of Israel wandering in the wilderness, right? Okay, throw 603,000 rocks at something. After the first 20 minutes, it's just a pile of rocks, okay? Exactly, Glock 316, it's a deterrent. And everybody sees that pile of rocks and they go, why is there a giant pile of rocks there? And there's like, oh, that's when Bill was doing what he wasn't supposed to do. Come here, kids, let me tell you the story of Bill. That's what happens when you F-A-F-O. Bill F-A'd and then he F-O'd. Okay, it becomes a witness, and that's all it takes for everybody to behave themselves is the witness. But we've gotten so freaking soft, and we're worried about what the judges are gonna say, that we don't provide that material witness to the populace anymore. Tar and feather, man, tar and feather. I think AG Pam Bondi should be tarred and feathered. Me personally, that's not a threat; it's an opinion. I think she has earned it by her inaction at this point. She should be ashamed of who she is. She should be ashamed of who she is. And look, she can keep her sports bra on. I'm not saying it's got to be completely immodest, but I think she should get tarred and feathered publicly. Okay, now, and let's hire a new attorney general. Next. I bet you that second one's going to be better than the first one. And everybody's like, Trump's so... yeah, he's pro-America. He's hard on crime. Look at everything he's doing. I'm like, not moving fast enough. Not doing enough as far as I'm concerned. And I think most other Americans are concerned. I'd like to see way more action. Way more action. Meanwhile, the administration's enforcement efforts have intensified nationwide. In Florida, ICE announced a massive multi-agency immigration enforcement crackdown, resulting in nearly 800 arrests over just 4 days. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis praised the operation as an example of Florida and the Department of Homeland Security partnering to deliver big results on immigration enforcement and deportations. Florida has pushed local officials to cooperate with federal immigration authorities, with more than 200 state, county, and municipal law enforcement agencies signing collaboration agreements with ICE. Some local leaders have expressed reluctance but complied under pressure from state officials who warned of potential removal from office for non-cooperation. Good. The administration's aggressive approach has extended to other cases as well, including the deportation of American citizens. Children aged 2, 4, and 7, along with their documented immigrant mothers. President Trump himself addressed criticism about due process and deportation cases, stating on social media, quote, "It's not possible to have trials for millions and millions of people," end quote. I agree with that. And that's part of the leftist agenda here, is it would take 60 years at current rates in order to hear all of the the immigration cases that we currently have on the books. And we hopefully know that these immigration cases, these immigrants, many of them not in the best interest of the United States of America. Some of them, yes, and we talked about this previously. I get it. The land of hope and dreams. I get it. I get it. Spain's grid is down, verified real. Well, I guess that's what you get for depending on external inputs and shutting down primary generation and going to secondary generation. What's the name of that company? You can see them. Vestas. They put up wind turbines. They tried to hire me once upon a time back in the day. I politely declined. Not interested. But I spent an hour in their North American Vice President of Operations office giving him pointers on how to develop wind in the United States of America. And he's like, thanks so much. When do you start? I said, I don't. But you have my address, right? He's like, I do. I said, cool. You can send me a check for $5,000 for that consultation. And to his credit, he did. But I wasn't interested in working with Vestas. But they've been for 20 years. For 20 years, they've been deleting primary generation and relying more and more heavily on secondary generation. No wonder the grid's down. Was it a terror attack? Gosh, I hope not, because the last thing I need on Monday today is an Article 5 situation. I want to, let's segue here a little bit. During Hurricane Helene, okay, so the grid's down, right? Okay. Spain, hypothetically, for you, thought process. How are you going to communicate? Okay, because your existential crisis rectangle ain't going to work anymore. Even if you have power, you don't have Wi-Fi, and if you do have Wi-Fi, what you're connected to, there's no juice coming down the pipe, and if you do have bars coming from the tower, even if the tower has power, there's no juice coming into the tower. Okay, so you might be connected, but you have no bandwidth. See this all the time doing disaster relief. So how are you going to communicate? During Hurricane Helene, Grindstone, it was a blessing for us to be able to support Little Germany. And we became aware of this little community up in the hills called Little Germany because they had one guy there who had a Baofeng. I mean, guys, this is my day pack that I just run around with. This is my backpack that just has stuff in it. Here we go, live on camera. These are all previous briefs that we've done together that I keep forgetting to bring to my home office. This is tape, because tape rules the world. This is smoke, for reasons. And this is not made up. I'm going here for a reason. This is a Yaesu FT65R. That's what this is right here. Okay, so how are you going to stay in contact with people? And this is an earpiece for said Yaesu FT65R. There's a couple other interesting things in here. No, we could actually go through it. If you want to see what else is in here, you let me know in the comments. How are you going to talk to your people? How are you going to coordinate? Because logistics wins wars. And most people are woefully unprepared for this. Even if you have a radio, do you actually know how to use it? Because there was one guy in Little Germany that was able to reach out on a 5-watt Baofeng, and people were able to hear him, including us, so that we could coordinate help for them. Okay, let's see the bag details. You guys want to? Okay, we'll stand by. If you have a radio and don't know how to use it, okay, you need to learn. This is me saying this. I hate ham nerdery. Hate it. Can't stand it. The amplitude of the waves bouncing off the ionosphere. That's my professional opinion. Comma. Just because I hate it doesn't mean it isn't good for you. It's like I like Brussels sprouts now. When I was a kid, I didn't used to like Brussels sprouts. I was like, those things are weird. They taste like sand. Not interested. Now, love Brussels sprouts. Radios are like Brussels sprouts to me, okay? All right? You got to know how to use it. And if you just try it, you're going to like it. Which brings me to Evan at Radio Made Easy. We are doing here at Refuge Medical a collaboration class with Evan at Radio Made Easy. He will take you from zero to hero like that at an incredibly reasonable price. And so go to refugemedical.com, go to the training tab, find Radio Made Easy radio operator class here, okay? It literally, this one guy in Little Germany, his ability to use his radio literally saved their lives. We were literally coordinating helicopters and mule trains and heavy equipment and food and medicine and water and shelter and security with one 5-watt Baofeng. And one of the first things we did was we got to get Gordy a better radio. Like he has to have a better radio and some redundancy, because what happens if his one radio breaks? Okay. So if you don't know, if you possess a radio but you don't know how to use it, go to refugemedical.com, click the training tab, come to class here with Evan at Radio Made Easy. Now I'll do a quick bag dump with you. I guess that's the show for today. So I showed you what's in this side pocket. I love this tape. This is 2-inch medical tape. I love this tape. Number one, this is great for foot care if you're getting hot spots. You put this on a hot spot before it becomes a blister, and it diminishes the friction coefficient. Okay, so I love that. And then this is medic tape. And so when you pull this off, each of these little lines has a line like heart rate, respiration rate, blood pressure, pulse oximetry, Glasgow coma scale, drugs, mechanism of injury, injury sustained, signs and symptoms, etc. And so you can take your pen and your tape and you can write all this down and then stick it to your patient before you hand them off to a higher level of care. Big fan of this. It's in the store. This other pocket, outside pocket here, this usually has this phone and this tripod that you guys, I'm talking to you with on it right now, is in this side pocket. And then there's some more briefs that I've shoved in there from yesterday. All right, let's see. This front pocket up here has some meds and some caffeine. These are Grinds caffeine pouches. They're pretty good. And I've got a patch right here. This is from John, Silver Bear Tactical Solutions. Yeah. And I got some charging cables in here. And yeah. So that's that little outside pouch there. I usually have some nicotine in there too. We'll just go ahead and re-up that right now. Okay, put the on pouches in the bag so you got the nicotine. Sounds good. All right, then we have this outer pouch here. There's some interesting things in here. We'll get there. So I have pen, Sharpie, stuff here. Got some file folders here with important notes in it. I've got, this is my notebook right here that all my stuff, my important things are in here. And we do so many important things that I have to take notes, thus the notebook. There's a couple other things in there. There's some cool stuff that people sent me, some seeds for my wife, some thank you cards, and thanks Bear, thanks for being Bear. So paperwork, essentially. Paperwork and writing utensils. And let's get into the main compartment. So I have commo with my EDC. With my EDC right now, I got a knife, I got a pistol, I got a flashlight, I've got 2 reloads, I've got a tourniquet, I've got an ankle kit on my ankle right now. I've got a pen, I've got a watch, I've got keys to my truck, but let's just say I had to walk. I've got a lighter, I've got 2 pairs of nitrile gloves, I've got chapstick because that's really important. I always carry, if you've ever met me in real life, I always have a 1-liter Nalgene bottle with me, always. Okay, so cutting tool, check. Combustion, check. Cordage, yeah, check. Container, check. Cover, check, yeah. All right, in here, what do I have? I have a charger for my phone for doing media stuff. I have a book, this book right here, called Shar Habitachon of Chobos Halavavos, The Gate of Trust, the book that I'm reading, the brother gave to me. I have a copy of the scriptures, leather bound, from Just a Nazarene Leather Co. right here. The Word of God. I have this awesome piece of paper that somebody gave to me on deployment in Hurricane Helene from William Backus of Columbia, Tennessee. Don't grow weary of doing good. And then, where did it go? Keep up the good work, men of God. William Backus, age 10. Be of good courage, men of Yah. William made this for us, and so that's a nice little reminder there. And then, what you probably care about, oh look, a Refuge Medical Bare Minimum. Purpose-built blowout kit. It'll do trauma medicine and boo-boos in my day pack that goes with me everywhere, in addition to my ankle kit, okay? Roger that, Mario. Try it, Alp. I will. So this is a red Refuge Medical Bare Minimum. You can get it at the store right now if you wanted to, refugemedical.com. Massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, and boo-boo stuff. Boom, right here in the backpack, ready to go. And then this is a Bare Fact pouch. If you get the pouches just empty if you want to as well. This is a Bare Fact pouch. And what's in this pouch? Well, let us see here. I have a Write in the Rain notebook for reasons. What's in the notebook? Don't matter for you. I have a set of shears. I have a flashlight that the batteries work in. I have a headlamp, which is like a flashlight that you can wear on your body, that the batteries work in. I have a small knife right here that is really good and really sharp and just the right size for processing things. What's up, Alex Giles? I have a 19-round pistol reload. I have another thick lighter. I have a small stone for sharpening knives. Small sharpening stone. I have a spare radio battery. I have another knife. I've actually been looking for this knife. Super cool. This is a Rat 1 from Ontario Knife Company. Really good folder, very reasonable. And it needs to not be in there because I need to put that somewhere else. I have a fire brick. These are great. If it's raining and you're underwater and you got to get a fire started, fire brick. That and lighter, I have fire. And then I have two CR123s. CR123s are the battery. Two of these will run any of the flashlights that I'm carrying, my weapons light or my EDC light, or my nods and my PEC 15 or whatever. I've got two CR123s. And CR123s are expensive, but I have tried to standardize all of my stuff on CR123s, that my nods, my laser designator, my flashlights, my weapons lights, my everything runs on CR123s. So that's what's in that little prepper pouch, if you will, that's in the day pack that goes with me everywhere. So cutting tool, combustion, cordage, container, cover, yup, casualty care, yup, candle, yup, communications, yup. What about calories? I'm wearing plenty of them around my midsection. I'll be okay. I can go a day without some calories. So that's what's in the day pack that goes with me everywhere. Some books to read, bare minimum. Whoop. And that's what a bare minimum looks like, riding around in the backpack for a year, like it's brand new. No butt wipe. No butt wipe. You know why? Because the likelihood that I have to walk with this is honestly very low. It's honestly very, very low. The likelihood that I have to carry in important things from my house to the truck to the office or offices, whether that's Grindstone or Caleb House or Refuge Medical or Bear Independent or anything else, very high. very, very high. So, yeah, that's what's in my day pack. You guys asked, now you know. And that's the show for today. RefugeMedical.com. Train the Trainer also is coming up. We've got a lot of questions on that. Prerequisites are not required. They're nice to have, not need to have, but they're not required if you want to come to the Train the Trainer class. And what is that? It's our 2-day class, Responder 1, 2, and 3, called the Essential Responder. But I'm going to teach you how to do it, and you're going to leave with a curriculum. So you do it, then we do it. Okay? So I do it first for you or to you. Then we do it together, and then you do it. You do it to me. Okay? So Train the Trainer is going to be awesome. Baofeng versus Yaesu. I'm a huge Yaesu fan. I have yet to break a Yaesu FT65R. I've got a graveyard filled with Baofengs. Me personally. What's your Midwestern preparedness talk on? Is Dudley going to film? Yes, Dudley's going to film it. And the Midwestern preparedness talk is on vetting. Vetting for mutual assistance groups and people groups, and what that process should look like, and trust versus bitachon, trust. So, yeah, Train the Trainer's coming up on, you can find that on the training tab as well. And listen, guys, use the chat at refugemedical.com. Call the store. You could call the store right now, and a human in here will answer the phone. You got a question, whatever it is, call the store. And if that don't work for you, or you're too busy, you got other stuff going on, shoot us an email, and a real human will reply as well. So feel free to reach out. Anything we can help you with, we will help you with. Use the chat on the website, call the store, shoot us an email. What else? Grindstone, man. Dude, we've been, you see that giant tornado in Nebraska yesterday? So do you post comm frequencies when on deployment? If you're on deployment with us, then you will have the answer to that question. If you're not on deployment with us, then you will not have the answer to that question. ComSec basics. So Grindstone, there was a giant tornado in Nebraska yesterday. Luckily, Nebraska is mostly empty, so no big deal. And then Caleb House, the fight continues, the battle continues. You guys know the drill. Links are in the description down below. It's Monday morning. Go kick ass in the name of the Most High. Do the things, be the light. May the Father make his face to shine upon you this day and give you his peace, his shalom. And I'll see you guys when I see you. Toodles.